But I think a lot of guys, they fall into this trap of thinking, well, I'm a nice guy, but I don't want to be an asshole, so I'm just going to be a nice guy. And they don't realize that there's this middle ground, which is the hardest road to navigate, because it's a very narrow ground where you don't let people walk over you. You're strong, you're firm, but you're also have compassion. So many guys, they go one way. They either like throw out all the compassion, or they're completely a pushover. And so what's the way to get guys to find that middle way?
You know, the fact that somebody's bouncing back and forth between the two is actually a good thing. It means they're trying to find the boundaries. You know, for example, when my son, he just turned 13 just a couple of days ago, and he's a little mouthier than he's been in the past. He's trying to assert himself a little bit more. He's definitely more independent than he's been up to this point. And it's a challenge as his father to see those changes and to have to rein some of that in and make sure that he's talking to him and his mother, my wife, appropriately. You know, there's things that are challenging about it, but it's also good. It means he's trying to find his place in the world. And because I'm his father and his mother is very active and involved as well, we can help him navigate those changes. Some guys never get that. Right. And so if you're a nice guy, sometimes you actually have to be the asshole to figure out where the line is.
Yeah.
And if you're the asshole, sometimes you have to be maybe a little bit more nice or get railroaded a couple of times to realize, I went too far. So the fact that you're going back and forth between the two says that you're trying to find where that perfect combination lies. So here's something I learned years and years ago about communication, and this ties exactly into what you're saying. So we have 4 primary communication styles. We have passive, which is the nice guy, right? Has ideas, has thoughts, but won't share them, is afraid of how it'll be perceived, gets railroaded, gets passed over for promotions, can't ever get the date, all that kind of stuff, right? Then you have the aggressive guy. You know, this is the asshole that we're talking about. He railroads everybody. He pushes them around. He asserts his dominance regardless of how it might come across or the wake of collateral damage he might leave in his path. He gets what he wants now, but long term, he has to move around a lot. He jumps from job to job. He might move cities because nobody likes him. He's a dick. He gets what he wants, but nobody likes him, and so he has to move on to take advantage of somebody else. The third communication style is passive aggressive. So this is an aggressive individual, but they don't want to necessarily come across like that. So they will make little snarky comments. They'll backstab people. They'll undermine at every opportunity. They make a joke of everything. I mean, having a laugh is one thing, but turning everything into a joke and making people feel stupid is actually an aggressive style of communication, but you're just doing it passively so nobody interprets you as the asshole. All right. The fourth component or communication style is really where most of us should try to get. And this is what you're talking about. It's assertive. Assertive. All right. So you've got thoughts, you've got ideas, you've got goals and ambitions and desires. You're willing to communicate those to people. You're willing to work towards them. You're willing to ask things of people that you might need. You're also willing to see how that might be perceived and how it comes across and how you can serve and help other people get what it is they want. This is where we want to work. And not any of us is always an assertive communicator. I've learned to be more assertive via the podcast because that's how you're going to lead a good podcast discussion. But there's other times where I might take it too far and be a little bit more passive or turn into an aggressive type communicator. So long story short, when you step over the line, that's actually a healthy thing because it's an indicator that you're trying to figure out what the line is. You just have to be aware of it, analyze it, and then make course corrections along the way.